This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Buying a car shouldn't eat up your week. That's why Carvana made it convenient. Car buying that fits around your life, not the other way around. You can get pre-qualified for an auto loan in just a couple of minutes and browse thousands of quality car options, all within your terms, all online, all on your schedule. Turn car buying into a few clicks and not a full week's endeavor. Finance and buy your car at your convenience on
Carvana.
Financing subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
No, if you look at Nicole Kidman, Billy Bob Thornton.
Nicole Kidman's on every streaming platform, Sean.
Well, that's all right. That's fair.
No joke.
Welcome to the Ankler Podcast. I'm Elaine Lowe, staff writer at The Ankler, where I write the series business newsletter. This week, we're going to dig into the future of a major player in Hollywood, Paramount Global, which includes the iconic movie studio Paramount Pictures, top broadcaster CBS, cable networks MTV, BET, Comedy Central, and Nickelodeon, and the streamer Paramount+. It's a massive company that is still in the process of a merger, with the whole town waiting for this deal to close. To recap, 1 year ago, Skydance Media's David Ellison and his father, Oracle founder and billionaire Larry Ellison, alongside Redbird Capital Partners, made an $8 billion move to acquire Sherry Redstone's National Amusements and combine Skydance and Paramount. So what can we expect from new Paramount, and why does it matter? Here with me are the Wake Up's Sean McNulty, as well as the Ankler's own Leslie Goldberg and Ashley Cullens, both of whom are reporting on this merger this week. Hey, gang.
What's up?
What's up, Elaine?
Hi.
So first off, it feels like this deal has been dangling on the horizon for an eternity now. It's a little bit like a Samuel Beckett play, waiting for Godot to close this merger. Sean, how close are we actually?
I'll just laugh for a while.
You didn't like
I don't know.
It's like Skydance is like, shall we go? And Paramount's like, let's go. They do not move. It's the perfect
Sure.
Samuel Beckett analogy, Sean.
Which is what I often do in the wake. A lot of gifts for Samuel Beckett. I can guarantee you that. Well, Ashley, the new date is what? October 5th is the final. No more delays, right? That was the last date we have now.
October 5th is a Sunday, so
I
that's
saw
when
that.
technically 90 days is, so I think it's the 6th.
Right.
All of the documents just say 90 days. They
I know.
don't actually say
yeah,
dates.
Heaven forbid they give an exact date in there. Yeah. So yeah, Elaine, we got plenty of time in my book. What are you talking about? You know, I mean, it was 180 days, and we're on what was it? Day 207.
237.
237. Right. So
and that's
yeah,
just the FCC clock. That's not
wait.
like since
Well-
the actual deal was signed.
Ashley, explain the FCC clock. What's with all the 90-day extensions? And is this last one the very last one that they're allowed? Like, how does it work?
So their original deal basically gave them an 180-day buffer, like 2 automatic 90-day extensions to get through all of the hurdles and clear any litigation, anything that's in their way. At that point, if they're still not done, I'm pretty sure they can walk away without like any kind of kill fee. It's just like, sorry, we tried, we're done. Before that point, there are financial penalties for walking away from the deal. And a big chunk of this is waiting for the FCC to approve the transfer of the broadcast licenses. And that's something that they like try to do in 180 days. But on the FCC website, it's like, that's an informal guide. And it's more important that we make sure this is the right thing to do.
All right. So we're all just waiting to make good decisions then.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. And Sean, like, if and when this thing closes, it feels like more of like a when, not if situation, right? First
I
off.
like your optimism. That's good, Elaine. Let's lean into that.
I mean, like, how does it change the landscape of the industry?
I mean, yeah, look, obviously, we'll dive into the plans from Cindy Howell. The things are in the wings. Cindy Howell's waiting in the background. We talked about the films department, Don Granger, and it's kind of a lot of executives are that's ready to go here, Jeff Shell. So I think that's to be pretty rapid at that point. As soon as this is street legal, they've also promised an additional $1.5 billion in cost savings, cost cuts, essentially. So that's going to be coming off, how much is that going to be? Obviously, the reorganization of the cable networks or whatever's going to happen there. So it's going to be, I would expect rather rapid fire, transactions or movements that are going to happen as soon as they get in the door there. So that'd be my expectation at this point. But it's going to be pretty massive, Ashley, wouldn't you? I mean, this is not going to be, this company won't look remotely the same.
We're talking about some pretty seismic changes and across the board, especially because they have their hands in so many different things.
And look, 2 of the 3 CEOs right now are not going to be there, presumably.
Right. Presumably. Yeah. Yeah. So, and you have a whole new leadership in. Yeah. But they're investing in films. That's like, we're not losing a studio. There are positives, like to Ashley's point. If this deal goes away, and this was the whole thing with the Trump settlement, et cetera, like the other side of this ain't great. If Skydance goes away, I mean, that's not good in the sense that a studio will live on, CBS will live on. There'll be other things, the cable businesses, we'll see about that. So there are some positives in that as well.
All right, well, let's go back to, you tossed out a lot of names there. Let's talk a little bit about the leadership structure. The current trio in charge, of course, of Paramount Global are George Cheeks, Brian Robbins, and Chris McCarthy. Now, there's a lot that we don't know yet about what the potential incoming leadership structure will be at a combined Skydance Paramount, but we do know that it involves the glorious return of Cindy Holland, the OG creative exec at Netflix, who left Sister recently to become an advisor on the Skydance Paramount deal last fall. Leslie, talk to us about the role she has played in Netflix's world domination in its first decade or two on the market, what she's been up to lately, and what her likely role at Paramount's going to be.
So if you've watched House of Cards or Orange is the New Black or any of the Netflix originals like Stranger Things, that's Cindy Holland. The reason that Peak TV existed is because Netflix started spending with complete and total insane levels on scripted originals. And what happened is they built themselves a monster on the back of their DVD by mail business that all these companies started licensing their hit shows to them, Friends, The Office, etc. That's all Cindy Holland. She built the library. She got Netflix into originals. And then that in turn pushed the town into the Peak TV phenomenon because everyone else started realizing that they too needed to build a direct-to-consumer streaming platform and needed to program it with scripted originals to get people in the door and to keep adding to that and to get them to stay in it, with their subscription. So Cindy Holland is the brains behind Netflix's transformation from a DVD by mail company into a home for premium scripted originals. And you can make the argument that she built Netflix to what it is today with her taste, with her buying, everything.
Like, it's not an overstatement to say that Cindy Holland is one of the people who has changed the complexion of modern Hollywood in the streaming era, right?
Absolutely. I don't think it's an understatement at all. I think she had a vision for what Netflix was going to be with originals, and it was her taste that helped them succeed in that industry and become the player and the mega streamer that they are today. And every other company, Disney, Warner Discovery, Paramount, they're all playing catch up.
So, you guys, what major changes do you think we expect to see here should Cindy Holland take over the wheel of Paramount's creative endeavors?
Cindy Holland is expected to be tapped to run and oversee Paramount Plus, the streamer within Paramount
Arguably
Global.
the most troubled of the major streamers, right? Like, it's not a volume player like Netflix. It doesn't draw A-listers like Apple TV Plus. It has some major brands like Star Trek and the Taylor Sheridan-verse.
There's some
It's not
A-listers
as
on
beloved
Paramount
as
Plus.
Disney.
Hold on.
Okay, all right. Sean disagrees. Go on.
No, if you look at Nicole Kidman, Billy Bob Thornton.
Nicole Kidman's on every streaming platform, Sean.
Well, that's all right. That's fair.
No joke.
Tom Hardy. You've got, they have some pretty, they spent, Michael Fassbender. I mean, they have big names on Paramount Plus, I will say.
Yeah, but those big names also do shows for other streamers too. So it's not like they're exclusive to that platform.
Well, I don't know who's exclusive to anywhere anymore. I'm just saying they do get A-list talent. If you're going to make a case, maybe Peacock doesn't get exactly A-list talent for their shows in a sense of if I'm going to pick one out.
And Paramount has, what's their newest one? Mobland with
that was with
Colin
Tom
Farrell.
Hardy and Pierce Brosnan.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they get some big names. But Leslie, my question is really, you mentioned all those amazing shows at Netflix, defining shows of the streaming era, both in the prestige and business era. Paramount Plus, largely CBS is a big part of their business, and that's obviously run still by the CBS folks, and that's not really falling under the Paramount Plus purview. Then it's the Taylor Sheridan universe and old Showtime, which I just went to the new Dexter Resurrection premiere last night.
Old Showtime that just got axed off of the name, Paramount Plus.
But Showtime is no longer on the name of the product, yeah.
Showtime as a brand, like the rest of Paramount's cable networks, are completely and totally worthless now.
Well, there you go.
Tell me I'm wrong. MTV, what's airing on MTV? It's like almost 24/7 episodes of ridiculousness
reruns.
That's it.
22 hours
for the
a day.
ridiculousness connoisseurs among us.
They put out a press release not too long ago saying for some event they're actually going to show music videos for 24 hours or whatever the period was. It's like it's literally in the name, music television, and you don't show music television anymore. It's all on YouTube.
But Elena, I did meet JWoww last night, so that was pretty exciting.
I'm sorry, who?
Oh, my Lord. All right,
Sean,
there we go.
explain.
Ashley, no, nothing? JWoww?
Elaine, how do you not know who JWoww
Thank
is?
you.
Who's
All
JWoww?
Jersey Shore.
JWoww.
Oh, JWoww.
Oh, Lord.
You said J
All right.
Well. Is that like
That's what I heard too.
a new wellness era edition of JWoww?
I was like, what new influencer don't I know about?
All
I
right,
know.
anyway.
Okay, JWoww. Okay,
All right.
so
Back to Cindy Holland, Leslie.
back to
What's she going to do?
2009, Sean.
Not for MTV, so I'm telling you, that's the problem there. But so what's Cindy going to do here, Leslie? That's my main question here. What is, where does she pick up? What do you think the first moves might be, or what does she do with all these things she'll be inheriting, at the existing Paramount Plus business?
Well, that's a great question. That's one that I pulled a lot of my sources, both within Paramount and outside of the company. And to be sure, they haven't formally announced her title because this thing hasn't closed yet, as you guys so eloquently
She's still
pointed
technically
out.
just an advisor, a
Consultant.
consultant.
Exactly.
Right?
She's already advised Ellison on things like a Yellow Jackets premiere. There was a big delay in renewing that show, and that's probably what that was Cindy looking under the hood as much as she's able to do without the merger having regulatory approval yet. So in terms of what she's expecting, a lot of this is just based on reporting. Obviously, no one from Skydance is going to comment or anything because it's premature. But what I've been hearing is that she's going to use the three big pillars that currently exist on Paramount Plus and build around those. So that means CBS originals that stream the next day, the Star Trek universe from Alex Kurtzman,
Right.
and of course the Taylor Sheridan universe.
The three crown jewels of this company.
Exactly. What we don't know is the amount of budget that she's going to have to work with.
Right.
And presumably, it sounds like the Ellisons are going to throw a lot of cash at this. And that's the hope, is that they're going to want to play to win instead of play to be number 3, as one source put it to me. What I'm hearing is that there's going to be 4 shows picked up sometime probably before year's end. One source after my story published told me that World War Z is going to get the TV treatment for Paramount Plus, which would make a lot of sense. That's a big, bold title that is sure to appeal to a large base. But, the larger question is, who's going to control Taylor Sheridan?
Well, you said that Paramount might look to just play to be number 3 in the market. Behind who? Who are number 1 and 2? Is it? Are we talking Disney and Netflix?
Yeah, I think that's what's implied is either Disney or
Right.
Netflix, or Netflix and Amazon.
I mean, it's good to have realistic goals, right? You come in, you're not like, I want to be number 1 in the market. I want to be number 3. Ashley, you talk to a lot of deal makers and lawyers. Like, what are they expecting if and when this deal closes?
So I had a very interesting conversation with someone yesterday who gave a lot of reasons why they think Paramount Plus is not going to continue to be a standalone streamer. And it is exactly that. Like he doesn't think that there's any chance of it actually competing with Netflix without combining with one of the others, like, NBCU and Fox, and then later Disney did back in the day with Hulu. And Parrot Analytics actually built out this whole like hypothetical streamer mergers chart to show like how combined things like NBCU and Paramount, Warner's and Paramount would look compared to Netflix when it comes to market share.
Oh, a little matchmaker chart. So tell us, what's like the optimal coupling here for streamers?
I mean, it depends on who you're talking about, right? So like for Paramount, the best case scenario, according to Parrot's little charts, is combining with Netflix itself.
Well, sure.
But yeah. But then a Warner Brothers NBCU combination, it says, would be first place.
Okay.
A Warner's Paramount combination would be first place. A NBCU Paramount combination would be first place.
And wait, are we talking about just the streaming part of the entities
just the
here?
streamers?
Okay.
Yeah, just the streamers compared to Netflix.
Got it. Okay. Because I feel like a lot of people have betrothed Paramount Plus and Peacock. Like these are the rumors, the talk that's been going on for the last year or two. I don't know. Sean, what do you think the feasibility of any of that is?
Well, that was, if you remember back, I'm going to say it's at least a year now, but Mike Cavanaugh floated on the earnings call, being like, yeah, maybe we're talking to Paramount. I forget what the exact
he
quote
actually
was.
name checked them. Yeah.
Yeah, he name checked them on the earnings call, and then the Paramount had their call, and they're like, "Well, we don't know what you're talking about." And that was, of course, I got to think about a year ago. At this point, I don't remember what the exact quarter was on that, and then that went away. Like that never even Comcast was asked again about that, and they're like, "No, nothing to see here, nothing to report." So I don't, that was brought up a while back. I don't know that. But I also think, look. Obviously, we've all heard statements from companies, and then they come and do something exactly different. But, in terms of when Ellison did get the keys and was actually talking about, again, way back when, before this whole saga kind of started, but the deal was closed, Streaming was a big part of what he was talking about. But he wasn't coming in being like, we're getting out of the streaming business. So I would be surprised if that's changed. I think, Leslie, your point about how much money are they going to invest in this? Like, how big are they going? I mean, those Taylor Sheridan shows are not cheap, so they're already spending. And so even like Central, the agency is not cheap. They're spending money on their series, so it's not like they're making a bunch of things on the cheap. So I would be surprised, actually, if that was the case, if they did that.
Oh, I was just going to say, I asked him, I was like, do you really think somebody with a proprietary streamer that's established is going to give that up right now? And his response was, they don't have to own it to use it or own all of it. So maybe they trade part of it in exchange for guaranteed licensing of their library, which creates cash flow.
One thing to also remember is that it's just getting profitable. So, listen, they're just hitting a domestic profit this year. And they started the latest of all of them, I believe, was all the Peacock of Max and all that stuff. So again, they had the shortest horizon here to become profitable. They haven't set a date for their total profitable date. So again, like they've hit that, they've kind of come through the tough times. They've made a lot of cuts. They've done a lot of library cuts and things like that. So I think that, again, you've gotten the business to this point. It is that the global distribution, they're having, Landman's a huge, massive hit. They've had large hits here. They're on the Nielsen charts. So actually the JV thing may be okay, you could look at, but I mean, to get out of the business, I think, either they shouldn't have gotten into it in 2021, which is a bigger argument to make. But at this point, they've gotten through a lot. And, if they can kind of get a few more wins on the programming side and maybe under Cindy's leadership, that could be something potent. So I'm a little less inclined to think that they're going to just hit eject on streaming.
All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we're going to continue dissecting the future of new Paramount, what its new structure might be, how many layoffs, unfortunately, we might look to expect here, and what kind of impact this is going to have on the Hollywood landscape. We'll be right back.
This MailChimp-verific jingle is brought to you by MailChimp.
MailChimp, your marketing with AI and more. Advanced automations to connect to your store. MailChimp, your marketing and boost your clicks. Multi-channel campaigns now with SMS. That's lit.
MailChimp your marketing today with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-on. Visit MailChimp.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Rich. I'm the host of the Prestige Junkie podcast. This Tuesday, July 15th, the Emmy nominations will be announced, and my colleague Chris Rosen and I will be going live on Substack while we watch them. Make sure you're subscribed to The Ankler to get a notification around 8:30 a.m. Pacific when we go live. We'll share our up-to-the-moment reactions to all of the snubs and surprises, and then stick around to discuss who came out on top and what the nominations mean. We'll also be sharing some really exciting news about the future of Prestige Junkie, and you really won't want to miss it. Subscribe to The Ankler, and we will see you there Tuesday morning.
Welcome back to the Ankler podcast, where we're discussing the future of Paramount after its probable merger with Skydance. I'm Elaine Lowe, and with me here are Sean McNulty, Ashley Cullins, and Leslie Goldberg. All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about the practicalities of what a merger does to the morale of people who work there. I would say usually it's not good. Layoffs usually happen before the merger. They happen after the merger to consolidate redundant back office departments. Like Ashley, Leslie, you two have both been doing a lot of reporting on this company this past week. What have you found? Is it business as usual there? Are people just kind of tired of hearing about the merger, or are they feeling the weight of this pending deal?
So on the feature side, things are still sort of moving along. It's like as much like business as usual as it can be. But one of the lawyers I talked to said it's like working with people who are in a mausoleum because they're all just like waiting to find out who's going to get kicked out next. And I had several talent reps tell me that they've been hesitant to bring projects to either Skydance or Paramount right now, because the last thing you want is to set something up with a creative exec who's really excited about it and then have that person get the boot and whoever replaces them either maybe be lukewarm or not want to do it at all. And so it's just too much uncertainty right now.
Yeah, I mean, I know that right now I'm in the middle of doing my semi-annual look at the state of development across the networks and streamers of like, what are they all looking for? And recurringly, the last 3-4 go-arounds with Paramount, it's been like, shrug emoji. Like the agents, the managers, the producers, they're just like, we don't know what Paramount wants because we won't know until this deal closes. I mean, Leslie, that puts a real damper on an environment creatively.
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, the sources that I spoke with within the company, it's a little of both. Some people are waiting for the other shoe to drop, and some people are just, I have to put my head down and focus on work because that's how I keep my job, right? And they're trying not to be too distracted by the merger talk or, the hypotheticals of what might happen once Skydance takes over or who might stay and who might go. So I think in terms of buying, obviously CBS still has to program new shows. So that's really been the only activity in terms of new buys. And Paramount Plus has been, as you've said, it's just frozen in time, trying to keep things that have either been in development or on the way to the screen, keep those going. And like I said earlier, keep existing shows running. But that is, they have made some surprising decisions. Like, they announced recently that they were going to end one of the Star Trek shows. And there have been a couple of those that have ended in recent years. So it almost feels like that is slowly fading from being a tentpole on the service unless they greenlight new stuff. They do have like a new movie, Section 31 coming and Starfleet Academy coming. But like, it is, to your point, everyone is waiting to see what Cindy Holland is going to do and who she's going to bring in. There's a rumor that she's going to bring in Jane Wiseman, who she worked with at Netflix and who she worked with at Sister. So these are all big changes. But the one thing that I have been hearing from everyone involved is how much everyone respects Cindy and values her taste and track record and her relationships with top showrunners, which is something that Chris McCarthy hasn't had. He's not a creative guy. He's a business and marketing guy. And B, people are excited that there's going to be a new buyer. Once Cindy Holland gets in there, she's got incredible taste that everyone is excited. She has incredible relationships with top showrunners and producers, a brilliant track record, and people are really excited that Paramount Plus is going to be a buyer again. And when you're in a depressed economy, the way that the TV industry is right now, that's great news for everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody would be more than happy to have one more buyer on the market right now.
Yeah, I think there's actually two parts of the equation here. And, actually, we talked in preparation for your piece about the film side of it, where Brian's been buying. Like, they bought 4 essentially spec projects over the past month. Like, for a company that's waiting for a deal to close, that doesn't exactly, it's interesting. They're like development projects. And again, you could play devil's advocate. Maybe Brian is stocking the closet. So if he's going to have a deal there, maybe he has some projects to work on. Who knows? And then also Skydance has also been no slouch, and the option to Andy Muschietti project for like $2 million or something like that. It was a big project. So the film side's kind of still cranking along there. But Leslie, to your point on like CBS, it's like that schedule, obviously it's already locked for the fall. There wasn't a lot of slots or new shows coming in this year, but CBS, maybe one of the more stable of the networks that doesn't turn over too much of that inventory. But Leslie, do you think, are they going to and I know you probably don't know the answer to this, but like, is there going to be a TV studio revival? Because they shut down Paramount TV Studios. They produce for CBS in-house, but opposed to NBCU, which is very active at selling elsewhere, and Warner Brothers Television, which is extremely active selling elsewhere, Paramount kind of got out of that business or has been on pause for that for a while. Any thoughts on like maybe that might come back into the mix here as part of what Cindy's doing or something else? Or I don't know. I was curious what your thoughts might be on that.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I don't know how much CBS Studios is going to start being a supplier to third parties, but I do know that as of my reporting this week, that it does sound like Cindy Holland is going to buy from all over town, meaning she could make a deal with Disney or Warner's or Universal, et cetera, Lionsgate, any number of outside studios as she looks to build up Paramount Plus. The one piece that I do want to say is that people are excited about is that there hasn't really been a singular vision for Paramount Plus since Julie McNamara built the service back in like 2014 on the back of a new Star Trek franchise. You look at Holland left a couple of years ago after transforming CBS All Access into Paramount Plus, and then they folded all the Showtime stuff in, rejecting a $3 billion offer from David Nevins, who also once led the service alongside Nicole Clemens, who was part of Paramount TV Studios unit, which was dissolved. And this is actual leadership, right? Chris McCarthy and Brian Robbins was focused on film and Nickelodeon. McCarthy was focused on all the cable brands. He's not a buyer. Neither one of them are especially prolific when it comes to talent relationships with top scripted showrunners. So like I've said before, they have been stuck in pause and just parked, waiting to see what happens next. And I think what will be exciting to see is what a merged company is going to spend and how involved Skydance TV will be as a studio and a supplier, right, and how much of their development projects they'll bring in. After one of these mergers like this, the first thing that a new executive does is they look at the slate. And that's something Holland has presumably been already doing. I know that sources told me that she looked under the hood on the Yellow Jackets renewal, et cetera. These are all big decisions. But the thing that she's been doing and advising here is she's setting it up and taking meetings with all the top people at Paramount, including David Staff, who oversees CBS Studios. And what she's doing is setting herself up so that when this does close, she's going to hit the ground running. And again, that's only going to be great for the town. I'm sure some projects will go away, as they usually do in situations like this, but it also will mean that she's opening the door to buying more from across the landscape.
Ashley, I want to talk about, you mentioned Leslie, you did too, the size of the company, where if you look at where Disney and Fox came together, those were two big studios, all with a bunch of overlapping, functions and staff sizes. Skydance is not a massive company, especially when compared to Paramount Global. So this is kind of a unique situation about duplicative roles. What is Skydance doesn't even have some departments that Paramount has. They don't have an international distribution arm for film or things like that. So
yeah, Ashley, you've likened this to David acquiring Goliath, basically.
A very rich David buying Goliath. Yeah,
nicely done there. Very good. But it's I don't know if you wrapped your head around that, in terms of how that might shake out. I mean, obviously the top roles of Ellison and Don Granger and things like that, but going down the line a little bit, any thoughts on how that may look a little bit as that merger hopefully goes forward?
Great question. That's what everybody wants to know. It's one of those things where people keep telling me if Paramount has X features a year and series on air and Skydance has X features a year and series on air, is this going to be X plus Y or a fraction of X plus Y?
Yeah.
We don't have an answer, and we don't know which projects are going to win out, although somebody told me that Skydance's slate is going to reign supreme. So
I mean, that's the assumption, I guess, if that's the owner coming in. But creative's creative. If you have a hot project, you don't want to be petty about something we didn't develop this, so we're going to get rid of it, even though it's an amazing show or something. But all right, interesting.
All right, so we're all just still waiting then for this deal to close, which, we don't know exactly when the extension ends, right?
I actually did just find out while we've been recording this, and it is October 4th.
Oh, we have a live and breaking update, October 4th.
Saturday, October 4th
is all the day.
So I should block my weekend off? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Ashley? I should have no weekend in October 4th? Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
It's probably going to be before then, I would think, right? As soon as they can get these hurdles out of the way, they're not just going to sit around and wait.
Optimism vote number 2. I love it on the podcast. Fantastic.
So cynical, Sean.
I just don't want my weekend back, man. Come on.
Well, you'll have a very healthy The Wake Up edition on Sunday then.
It'll probably be Labor Day weekend when it happens. I'm great. Thanks a lot, guys.
How can we ruin as many reporters' weekends as possible?
Holiday weekends. Yeah, thanks.
All right, well, last up on today's show, let's turn our eye towards summer movies for a moment. Jurassic World Rebirth off to a monster showing at the box office this summer, and Superman's hitting theaters this weekend. Sean, speaking of optimism, is it too soon to call this a healthy summer at the box office, or do we need to wait to see how Superman opens?
Yeah, we've got 2 more bangers to go, and Fantastic Four as well coming end of the month. So
my children have been begging me to take them to that, actually. We're all big Pedro Pascal fans,
Okay, it's a little above, I'm not grasping it, but I have the recency bias of the last 2 movies in my head, I think, so maybe I can't see it quite straight in my head, but good for them. If that movie opens big at the end of July to kind of bring us home, then hopefully Naked Gun and Weapons and a few other Freaky Friday coming, so August should be pretty big. So yeah, I think by the end of the summer, Elaine, we'll be in very good shape. As of now, we've had June was a bit mixed, I'll put it that way, but we certainly have F1 Jurassic doing huge business. And if Superman can, the word of mouth is generally pretty good from what everybody I know who went to the screenings this week. Nobody here saw it, I don't think. Right? No. Richard saw it, I think.
I haven't seen the last several, but this one's got a dog in it, so.
So clearly, if you're watching the video right now, Ashley will be in attendance at some point. Leslie, you went on Superman. What do you got?
Oh, yeah. I'm married to a comic book nerd. So, yeah, we're in on Superman.
All right, Leslie's in. All right, Elaine, is this going to be a low family outing or no?
Superman's not really my jam. Not since
Wow.
like the animated series in the 90s. That's the last time I paid any real attention to Superman. Sorry, guys.
Ashley, I just can't get a handle on which franchises Elaine's in and out on anymore. I like to
keep it mysterious, Sean.
You really do. So congratulations on that. So hopefully this is, continues the winning ways at Warner Brothers that everybody was so concerned about a few months ago. So this would be, I think, 5 for 5 now if they land this one. So, since Mickey 17. So
talk about the prognosticators being wrong.
But there's nothing better than an expert in the business. So there we go.
Well, that's a wrap on this week's Ankler podcast. If you have any feedback for us, let us know at podcast@theankler.com. Visit theankler.com to subscribe to our full suite of newsletters and pods for all the latest industry insights. And if you enjoy this show, please leave us a rating and review wherever you get your pods from. You can also follow us at The Ankler on all major social platforms. Thanks to Sean McNulty, Ashley Cullens, and Leslie Goldberg for joining, and to you all for listening. I'm Elaine Lowe. See you next week.